Today we are building the KiwiCo Sound Effects Studio. Are you ready to snap, clap, and make some goofy noises? Let's start by making the body. First, line up the metal nub on the potentiometer with the hole in the pole handle. Then, twist on the metal nut. Hand tighten as much as you can so that it doesn't come out. Next, add a small gear here. Be sure to match the shape. It might be a bit tight. Just make sure to push all the way down. Next, find this large wooden piece and we'll want to use the blank side up. Then, attach it here. And now our first stop and check. Make sure that the gearbox is flat against the wood and that the potentiometer is pushed all the way in. Now twist with the metal nut here. You can hand tighten first before using the wrench. Thread the wires through this hole. Next, grab the battery pack. Remove the tab and attach the grip over here. We're going to now flip over the wood piece. We're going to slide the battery pack into this slot and then click it in here. Now, thread the wires down through this hole. You're going to look for the one right next to the battery pack. And yay! You've built the body! Time to move on to adding the controls. For part B, add the control panel to the control panel base like this. Make sure the wires go out this way. Next, place it on the wooden body piece. You'll need to flip it over and point this tab towards you. Let's connect the handle pieces. The hooks go into these holes. You'll need to start a little above and then slide down, like this. Then we're going to slide the handle piece onto the wooden body. Make sure the holes are lined up. Now flip it over, then twist on 2 green screws here. You may need to use a hand to help hold things into place. Use the wrench to tighten. This might be a bit tight to do, but keep going. You'll want to make sure that it's flush against the wood. Okay, before we move on, proceed with caution in the next steps. You're about to add the switches. The stems that stick out from the control panel are really fragile, so don't press the switches too hard. Let's add the yellow memory switch here. Make sure the switch looks like this. And for the other side, let's add the blue volume slider. There might be a little gap on this one, but don't worry. Next, add on the control panel cover. You're going to want to face the icons up. Don't be afraid to press hard. We're looking for no gaps. Now add the speaker holder. Make sure the gap is facing you. We'll hold it in place with a green screw on the other side. You can also use a wrench to tighten. Before putting on the big gear, turn the potentiometer as far left as it will go. Then add in the gear. Press hard. Make sure the big gear and the small gear mesh like this. And now, another stop and check. When you pull the string, both gears should move. And when you let go, the string should retract automatically. If that doesn't happen, check to make sure that the big gear and the small gear mesh together. Not meshing? Pull off the big gear and go back to the last step, step 10. And once everything seems to be meshing, pat yourself on the back because you added the controls. Let's wire everything together. But first, let's take a short science break so I can talk about this cool little piece in your build called the potentiometer. Once this piece is hooked up to the battery, the potentiometer will work like a faucet for electricity. How much power flows through it will depend on how much you turn it. When we change the flow, we're actually varying the resistance. Your circuit board, the brain of your build, reads that difference in power flow and adjusts the pitch that comes out of your speaker. It's how your voice goes from chipmunk squeaky to monster deep with just one pull. Pretty cool. And now, let's continue. Connect the control panel to the electronics board right here. Next, connect the gearbox. Make sure your wires are black, yellow, green. Then connect the battery pack. Black on top, red on the bottom. Let's pause and stop and check here. Turn on your battery pack and see if the red LED light lights up. If it doesn't, turn off the battery and make sure everything is connected correctly. Check that the battery pack is fully connected and the battery tab is pulled out. And caution, make sure the battery is off before continuing on. Next, connect the microphone here on the blue and yellow spot. You can make any shape you want here or later. After that, slide the panel into place right here. You can slide in one side first and then the other. Let's push these wires down to organize them a little bit more. Pull the microphone away from the handle. Next, add the speaker. Hold the wires out through the gap. And caution, be careful not to press the center of the speaker. Now let's wire up the speaker. Orange on top, green on the bottom. All right, it's time to add the clear top. Push the wires to the middle, away from the large gear. Pull the mic through the slot in the back and make sure you line up these holes. You might need to hold it together with one hand as you put in the long green bolt right here. Twist a nut around it to keep it into place. Before we continue, let's stop and check. Make sure the small holes on the clear top are aligned and that the mic still goes through the hole in the back. After that, add in the second long green bolt. Twist on a nut. Let's add a speaker cover on top. Twist and then use the wrench to tighten. We're almost there. Let's add the gauge needle on top. Line it up like this, making sure that the needle matches this mark. Then put it on, add in a green screw, and twist it all the way in. And with that, you made a sound effects studio. Now that you're finished, let's talk about how to use the sound effects studio. To record sound, there's 4 steps. 1. With the battery on, move the memory switch to slot 1. Then point the mic towards whatever you want to record. Number 2, hold down the red record button. Wait a second, then keep holding down the button as you record a continuous sound for at least 10 seconds. Your recording can be up to 15 seconds long. Here's the tip. Try continuous sounds like la 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 or bzzz for your first recording. Number 3, then press the green play button to hear your recording. Adjust the volume using the slider on the left. That sound is saved in slot 1. You can pull the cord while the recording plays to see what happens. And then number 4, to save another sound, move the memory slider to slot 2 and hit record. You can record over a saved sound by moving the switch to that slot and re-recording. And now that everything is working well, here are some helpful tips. The gauge indicates where the pitch is. So if you draw out to the middle, you'll get a normal sound. You draw out short, you'll get something pretty low. If you draw out long, you'll get something very fast and very high. And if you're looking for some inspiration, check out the crate cover for some funny sound effects ideas. Now, if you run into trouble, I've got you. If the red light doesn't turn on when you turn on the battery, make sure that the battery is fully connected and the battery tab is pulled out. If you press record but don't hear a beep sound, or you hear nothing after you press the play sound, make sure you're holding the record button for the full length of the sound you're trying to record. Make sure the red light is on and that everything is fully connected. And if the sound is not changing pitch when you pull the cord, make sure the red light on the circuit board turns on when you turn on the battery. If it doesn't, go back to part B, step 10, to make sure the gears are meshing and the gearbox is fully connected at part C, step 2. Also, if the cord is not retracting by itself, the gears might be squished together. Take off the big gear and try retracting the cord again. Check that your potentiometer is pointing straight up and turned all the way to the left. Make sure it's also attached properly. When you put the big gear back, nudge it away from the small gear to create a little bit of space. And here, move the wires out of the way of the gear and make sure the cord has no knots or twists. So what's going on here? Let's talk about sound waves. Pulling the cord stretches and squishes the sound waves. And when you hear a noise, what you're hearing is the vibration making ripples in the air. And those ripples are sound waves. And how high and low a sound sounds depends on frequency. How many of these waves are passing a point in a second? Here's a comparison. High frequency waves make high sounds, like a mouse's squeak. And low frequency waves make low sounds, like a lion's growl. So what's happening here with this crate? Well, when you pull the cord, you're actually changing the potentiometer, which then tells your circuit board to change the sound wave's frequency, making the noise change. And if you're looking for more inspiration, check out our booklet for some cool ideas. My favorites are pet sounds and last laugh. Thanks so much for building along with us. If you like what you see, like and subscribe.
See you next time.